Hey guys.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys? Welcome to the VoiceIt show. This is episode 43. I already see people in the chat. Hi, Anders. Uh, the regular faithfuls of the VoiceIt show.
Yep,
And it's so great to be with you guys again. First of all, Christmas greetings to all of you. Merry Christmas. And this is the Christmas special episode. And fantastic to have you all with us today. Thank you for tuning in. And if you are new to our channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss the future videos and our interviews with cool guests like today's. And before we proceed with that, we want to give a huge shout out to our patrons who have been a great support to our show. So, Funky, you want to go ahead?
of course. A special thanks goes to Anders Lindholm, Adam Gorak, Shelley O'Neill, Chris Vickery, and of course Laurie Sandoval. And one more. So
Yeah.
just an hour ago, I got a card, a Merry Christmas
From
card from Kathy. So Kathy, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you, and I love you a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. So, to proceed with our interview today and the man of the hour, Funky, why don't you introduce our guest?
Of course. So today we are honored to have with us a phenomenal guitarist with unparalleled compositional ability and exceptional instrumental dominance, musician, master's degree of music theory, JTC Guitar Artist, a fantastic session artist and guitar teacher, Mr. Igor Paspalj. Igor's virtuosic playing style has not only made the world fall in love with him, but has also made him the Electric Guitarist of the Year 2020 award winner. He picked up guitar when he moved to Bosnia in 1991, followed by his education at the Academy of Arts in Banja Luka, where he was pronounced the best student of Banja Luka 2005. He also has a master's degree in music theory and harmony wood analysis. Igor also worked as a full time professor at the same academy. As a performer and studio musician, Igor has more than 25 plus years of experience playing and recording guitars with numerous artists from the globe. Igor's first solo album called Gravity was released in 2021, and now his second album called Striptease released this year and is taking over the musical world.
That's right. And at the beginning of 2020, Igor became an artist for JTC Guitar. JTC Guitar is one of the largest and best known online instructional companies for guitar. He has published three masterclasses by now and many other cool lessons and packages. Igor draws inspiration from guitarists like Joe Satriani, Guthrie Govan, Steve Vai, and Timmons, and certainly is now himself an inspiration for many people like us. And it's a wonderful thing that Igor and our dear host from Cal Medina are from the same country.
Yeah, that's true, and it is such an honor to have him with us today. So, Igor, dobrodošao.
Bolje vas našao. Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me. And
Doing,
wow, what a great introduction. Thank you very much.
thank
You
you, thank
deserve it.
you. Thank you for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have you. How are you doing and where are you joining us from, Igor?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, very busy. Joining you right now from my little home studio from Banja Luka, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah, we're
Awesome.
in the
So
same
Funky
country
and
now.
Yeah. Well, actually, I met Almedina a few weeks ago when I had one small master class and gig in Sarajevo. So I met her. It was a pleasure.
Likewise.
awesome.
Yeah, there
There
you
you
go.
go.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
she
amazing. That was
Well, man,
amazing.
thanks. It was the third. It was the third day. I was already a little bit tired because I did.
Hmm.
I did all the driving, all the stuff for these 3 days. But yeah, I guess it was fine. It was okay.
Oh wow. So did you go alone?
No, I came with a friend, but he was just just to make me to give me company. It was just all
right.
driving, all things I did by myself. And yeah,
Hmm.
when you have workshop, then like a 1 or 2 hour break, then gig, 3 days in a row. If it's only gig or workshop, yeah, it will
Wow.
be it will be much easier. But this is kind of 3 day would be a limit. I guess I would do in one take of these kind of stuff.
Wow, that's impressive, honestly. And that gig, seeing and listening to you play live and explain everything to all the people who were asking you questions was really amazing. A
Yeah, it was
pleasure.
great. It was great crowd in Sarajevo as well. People had a lot of questions.
Mhm.
There were some really cool guitar players that already knows, and
Yeah,
they weren't all of them beginners, which is happening a lot of
true.
times. Yeah, it was a great conversation. I had a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I heard all the questions, and since I'm not a guitarist, I know nothing about guitars. I was like so confused, but happy to be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah. I can say I enjoyed it in bits and pieces because when you're playing funky, recorded some of it and sent to me on Instagram, you're like, Igor is here. I
yeah.
was like, okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, so funky, why don't you begin with the
yeah.
interview?
So I'm gonna take you to the very beginning and ask you when and how did you get into rock music or music in general?
Okay. Well, I guess my actually no, this is probably first time I'm talking about this very first when my recollection when I started getting interested in guitar was probably
Hmm.
I think 1987 or 88 or maybe 89. I don't remember. End of the 80s when my brother bought me there was a it was audio tape at that time of the band Al Medina knows the band called Divlje Jagode,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they released the album called Konyi or Horses on
Mm-hmm.
English.
Yeah.
So they had the main guitar player, which is very very popular in our country. He was one of the first, I guess, guitar heroes here. Zele Lipovac. He had his version of the Alla
Right.
Turca from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time I really liked it. I didn't at that time, was thinking about playing guitar or something, but I was really impressed, and it stayed for me for a while. For a while, when I started eventually playing guitar, it was actually, I think you had a wrong data. You said like 1991. No, 91. I came from Croatia to Bosnia, but I started play somewhere around end of the war, 95 or 96. It
Yeah.
was actually pretty late. I was like a 14 years old already. I mean, I would like.
Wow.
I wish I started earlier, but I mean, it's never too late. Anyway,
True.
when I started, I to be honest, I started mostly because of the girls. Just playing few chords
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then when I heard on some also old tape by accident, I heard Eddie Van Halen Eruption. That really blew my
Hmm.
mind. I really said for that moment, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do, and I don't care if it works or not. So, and that actually that's
True.
the time when I really started, taking guitar seriously, and then later enrolled, in the music school and university and everything. And yeah, that's how it begins. How it begins actually.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. That's quite a journey in itself.
No,
And not only did you learn guitar from the same academy, you were also the best student over there. You passed out as the best
uh,
student.
yes, but I mean,
And
sorry. I have to correct you. I never studied guitar at music school or university.
sure,
I studied the music
music theory.
theory, and later, yeah, I got my bachelor and MD degree on a subject called harmony with analysis. So it
Uh-huh.
was strictly theory. I played piano, the high school and university, but guitar was
Oh,
always,
wow.
yeah, guitar was like a side, my side. It was like a I led a double life. One was, with just,
Side
with
hustle. Yeah.
playing classical music and studying classical music at university, playing piano, and the other was, playing gigs at some small local bars and stuff with guitar and playing rock music. So that's
Uh-huh.
basically how it's these two lives were kind of, going sideways all
Parallel.
all, all the
Mm-hmm.
time,
True.
parallel.
Wow. That's awesome. And you also taught at the Academy of Arts as a
Yes, I was.
full-time professor over there.
No, 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 no. That's also one. I think I'm too young to be full time professor. I was a senior. I know, in the world maybe it goes differently, but I was a teacher, but it's called senior. I was a senior first assistant, teaching assistant, then
Right.
senior teaching assistant. Yeah, to be full
Mm-hmm.
time
Okay.
professor, you need to be.
Yeah.
I actually, to be honest, I quit that kind of career at 2014 when I moved to Dubai. I still did. I was still teaching, but I moved to another school, American School of Dubai. In
I
Dubai,
see.
but I stopped pursuing a academic career because, to be honest, as much as it's, great way to learn stuff, and I think I came to that point that it just wasn't for me, and I always kind of a little bit more enjoyed playing live, and doing the guitar stuff than writing theoretical pieces
Yeah,
paper, and
obviously.
so
True.
I still love it, but it's just this was just this way was just something that I preferred more, and I finally got the opportunity when I moved to Dubai to pursue it way in a more, financially independent ways. It was much better
Right, right.
paid to be guitar player, let's say, in Dubai than in Bosnia here at that time. So it was
Yeah,
much more paid.
obviously.
So at that time, I actually, even after 2.5 years of teaching in American School of Dubai, I quit that job as well of teaching. And
Hmm.
Mhm.
again, I'm still teaching to this day, but now I'm teaching, but I'm teaching only electric guitar. I'm teaching only, students that I want to pick, that I pick, and stuff like that. So
True. Right. Awesome. So somehow you quit teaching, but teaching doesn't seem to quit you. It's
no,
always
no,
there. It's
no,
followed you.
definitely still teaching, and designing master
Yeah,
classes and stuff for JTC. That's basically also teaching. We have these bootcamp
indeed.
online courses with JTC. So basically, like I would guess 40% of my music job is still, beside recording and stuff. It's still teaching, but now it's different.
Right,
Now I'm literally now I'm teaching exactly the stuff that I'm proficient, like in electric guitar, about
Hmm.
speed
right,
picking and stuff. So it's not anymore that I have to teach uh, kids
right,
playing acoustic guitar, beginners. I don't have to do that. I can now choose exactly what I'm gonna do, who I'm gonna teach.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's much better. And to be honest, the
right.
most importantly, I can choose how much time I'm gonna teach. So because that's again not my main thing that I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
True, true.
Yeah.
So it
That's
works
awesome.
better for you.
Oh,
Okay.
definitely works better.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take you to the beginning again and
Okay.
ask you. So how did your first live performance go? How old were you? How did you feel?
Actually, my first live performance is maybe 6 or 7 months after I started playing, and it was
Wow.
actually big. It was a big gig. It was the second or third. How now I need the help, Almedina. How do you say guitariada in English?
I have no
Actually,
idea.
it's like it was once per year in that city near Banja
like
Luka.
a festival or
Like a
something
small
with
festival. It's called
yeah,
Guitar Festival, but it's not bass guitar. It's just
Okay.
young, unsigned and very unknown bands,
like
playing.
meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So it
Cool.
was, I think, second or third in Prieto that was organized. I think after the war. So yeah, I got there and I actually got the prize, like the most perspective young guitar player, something like that.
Wow.
Look at
It
that.
was just the
Wow.
two. It was just the two songs, but it was pretty terrifying. It was like it was like a in the big hall. It was like a 3,000-4,000 people, and it's not easy, when you are
Yeah.
14 years old to go in front
Right.
of these peoples. And it was, like some hot, heavy metal band. It was very, very noisy. I still can
Mhm.
still remember how it was. It was pretty terrifying, but yeah, but cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
True, that's right. Awesome. And from there to now that you're a guitarist of the year 2020, and you got the award from Guitar World magazine, and not only that, even musicradar.com, named you as the best guitarist in the world
And
recently.
no, 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 no,
So
music radar. I actually just recently find about that. No, I was in the music radar. I was radar. I was on the list of like a 10 best young players of the
yeah, that's what I meant. You were in
2021.
the
Yeah,
top
something
10
like that.
guitarists.
Actually, I don't know exactly what's the prize name, but it's according to the reader or something like that. I'm
Sure.
actually not sure what it is. What is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's okay. So, what I wanted to ask is, you also won PRS S2 McCarty guitar with your
Yes.
Guitar World thing, and you also have an option to do a video performance, and record it, which will be featured in Guitar World, of course. So, do you already have a plan of what you'll be recording or things like that?
Yeah, we already agreed kind of on the script how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be some one or two excerpts of one of my songs that are gonna be featured on my album. It's gonna be like a small interview, and yeah, it's gonna be published on the I think Guitar World YouTube and channel, their channel and the website magazine. I'm actually not sure. For channel, I'm pretty
Cool,
sure
cool.
YouTube channel, but yeah, it's gonna happen soon. I hope.
Awesome, awesome. That's cool. And there's a thin line between playing with emotion or playing with feel and shredding or speed picking. And you seem to balance that so wonderfully that, and so how did that come to you? Feel as well as, technique.
Okay, well, I have a little bit different view on that because people always,
Sure.
talk about the feel comparing to technique. But I mean, uh, I kind of disagree that there's a difference. If something is
Right.
fast, doesn't mean that it's lifeless or feel less, right? Or
Yes,
also, if something
definitely.
is slow, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be good or it's gonna be emotional. So
True.
when you hear some of the for example classical music, some of the great works of Liszt, of Paganini, of Vivaldi, they're very very fast, and I wouldn't say that anybody can say there's no feel in it, and passion and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
I always look at this, when somebody said, oh, don't play fast, play with the feel, or can you, it's just I these two things are so connected, and it's just for me that doesn't work, that kind of
Right.
dividing stuff, slow playing with the feel and fast technical playing. It's just I'm that's why I'm trying to do both in my own way, so that I guess I don't know how much I'm succeeding, but yeah, for now it works for me. It's never going to be on the level that I want to be probably, but we'll
Uh-huh.
see. I'm trying, I'm improving every day.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
it's a journey. Yeah, yeah.
Never
And
ending
I love
journey.
your thought on never-ending journey.
Exactly, yeah.
So much so, yeah. So, what are some of the things in life and guitar playing that no one tells you or told you, and you found out and learned them by yourself, with experience?
Well, I'm self-taught on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Self-taught with a little help of I started playing before the internet, so
Mm-hmm.
I started playing with the help of at that time VHS tapes. At that time, maybe you remember, it was like very big series called Hot Licks videos with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yngwie
yeah, yeah.
Malmsteen, Steve Vai Moore. I got my hands on those stuff, and because here in Bosnia, in the mid '90s, it was really it wasn't really a good time. It wasn't perfect time to find stuff. You couldn't find stuff. We were still after the wartime. We still were kind of disconnected from the world, so you couldn't
Yeah.
basically there wasn't
True.
you couldn't just go online. Well, there wasn't online. You couldn't even find the magazine and find, I don't know, address of some you know guitar books in London
Right.
and order them. They wouldn't send it here. They wouldn't just no. They said no, shipping available to Bosnia. Sorry, and
Yeah.
Oh
stuff like
my
that.
God.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad until I guess, well, maybe I don't remember, but basically until end of '90s, things started really to pick up nicely. But yeah, at that time I was
Right.
self-taught, and I was just trying to copy these guys when watching these all. I remember I had all these hot licks from Yngwie Malmsteen, Paul Gilbert, Vinnie Moore 1 and 2, Steve Morse, Greg Howe, Richie Kotzen. I was just copying, and
Sure.
you see if something doesn't work, eventually you came to some discovery without anybody telling you. Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
And since you're a self-taught, was it easier for you to learn by ear or by, I don't know, notes or whatever?
Well, I started again because we had to. I started learning by ear, and that's something that I would recommend everybody doing it. Trying to always try to pick up stuff by ear first, and then if it's not possible, to take a help of some tab or
Hmm.
notes or something. But the thing is, now these days everything is available literally on one click. So now I know a lot of young guitar player, they just don't listen, they don't bother to listen. When they want to learn something, they just type in YouTube, I don't know, oh, Smoke on the Water solo tutorial, and there's going to be first 50 results, perfect tutorials.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I know, perfect. So you don't have to buy them, you don't have to pay for them. But the thing is, and they just, blindly as a robots learn this, and some of them learn it perfectly. But later, eventually, when you need to pick up simple chord progression, like, I don't know, A minor, G major, C major, they're struggling to hear that. They cannot hear this relationship
Mm.
between the chords, relationship between the notes, because they never tried. So what I always suggest, even if you have everything available, and when you start with something simple, first try to learn it by ear, and when you think you know it, then go and check on the tab, or notes, and then say, oh, this was wrong. I didn't hear this one good. Note it and whatever, and always try like that. Now, of course, if you want
Sure.
to, if you want to learn some stuff, I don't know, Ingrid Malmsteen, Far Beyond the Sun, it's not that easy to learn it, by just
Mm.
listening to. If you're not, very, very into his style and into his licks. So yeah, help with the tab is more than welcome. It's going to shorten the time of the learning process and everything.
Learning process. Yeah.
But for everything simpler, especially harmonies, chord progression, relationship, and stuff like that, I always strongly suggest just try, play the song, try to find these chords by ear, and then later double check with with some properly written progression or something. Is it right or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. Although I'm myself doing the wrong thing because I'm learning how to play bass and I'm learning by tabs, but I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
time is like that. But again, I agree. It's a much shorter process and everything.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
gonna
Right.
affect you. It's gonna affect your ability, to hear things. For example, if somebody gives you a song straight away and said, "Okay, let's jam, let's do that,"
Yeah,
keyboard player
no
start
way.
playing. It's gonna be hard for you to pick up that chord progression straight away
Chord
if you're,
progression.
if you never thought about it, if you never tried to get it. But again, on the other hand, will you ever need to do something like that? So I guess both approaches are okay. I mean, if
True.
I started playing after the era of internet, I would probably also reach for
Yeah,
who's gonna
obvious.
be bothered? That's why maybe I'm lucky. It was a little bit slower at the beginning, but maybe I was lucky so that I actually first
Yeah.
started, and it was a lot of things was wrong. I remember some songs and solos that I really thought that I nail it. Later, when you see after many years ago, after 2000 and something, when there was a YouTube
Mm.
came out in 2006, 7, whatever, and then
Mhm.
when you double
Yeah.
check it, and it's like, oh, like this doesn't, I'm not playing it like this. And then you double check it,
Yeah.
triple check it, and like, oh, this guy is right. Actually, I got it wrong. But it's again part of the process, so nothing wrong with that,
True.
I guess. Nothing wrong.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
It may
one thing.
sound.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It may
one thing
sound
that's.
similar, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Go
It's
on.
okay. It's okay.
Go on.
So yeah, what I wanted to say is, that's what actually was my next question. Thankfully, Funky asked it in the very beginning. When it comes to learning things by yourself, it's much of an open ground because compared to when you're learning with a curriculum or with someone, it's a fixed path you have to walk on.
Mhm.
So when you're learning things by yourself, just as you said, you expressed that beautifully that, you learn by ear and whatnot. So when you were learning in the very beginning years of, your guitar playing and thing, so did you set a path for yourself, or you were just going, okay, I am weak in this area, let's say scales, so I'll practice scales today or whatever, like, did you carve your path like that?
No, it was my practice routine. Probably like everybody at the very beginnings were pretty chaotic. I
Hmm.
didn't know what I was doing. First you try to just to
Right.
learn some simple song from the local. I mean, not local, from the band from Balkan that you like. For example, Medina knows, songs from bands like
Sure.
Crvena Jabuka, Riblja Čorba. You
Mhm.
try to learn
Yeah,
it,
the usual.
and then it was very simple songs. Now listening, I can name the chord immediately. Like, yeah, man. At that time, you play and you think you're right, but and then comes classic mistakes of
True.
substituting the relative keys. A
Right.
minor, songs goes A minor, E
C
minor. I'm
major.
playing
Yeah.
A minor and G major and think, yeah, that's right, but it's not.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
and
fun. Yeah, it's a
and
fun
then
experience.
then to continue with your question, then playing a little bit scales, trying to figure out some stuff. But really, it was chaotic. I didn't know what I was doing until I eventually got my hands on some these video lessons and stuff, and then starting
Right.
really, to organize my practice routine more effectively, because that's actually very
Mm.
important. It's not, you don't have to practice 12 hours per day. If you're just gonna,
Mm.
sit down and noodle around, I think the two
Right.
hours, 2 hours of really targeted focus practice is much more beneficial for you than 10 hours of just sitting and noodling around, without any goal, any aim, which is okay. Sometimes
Right.
we all do it sometimes, but if you do this all the time, if you don't have, a clear goal, what do you want to go, where you
Right.
want to go, what you want to achieve, what's your target, for example, for this week, for this month, it can soon, you can get frustrated with this just noodling around. So it's just definitely better to
Right.
organize your practice routine, not too strictly, but definitely to have some,
Mm.
some goals, some aims, what you're gonna do.
You're right. So yeah, that's beautifully expressed again. Yeah, having little goals is important as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, cool. So what are some of the fundamental things that follow if you're a beginner? Or okay, let me just take it from the view of a beginner. If I'm starting to learn guitar now, what are some of the fundamental things that I should keep in my mind?
well, if we're talking about electric guitar, uh,
Hmm.
well, again, first, probably first few weeks or something, just to get your hands working properly, to get connected with the instruments, I
True.
guess. And then I would immediately start, probably with the things that people kind of neglect, which is probably the most important aspects of guitar playing. For example, vibrato is one of the most important things, and
Ah,
people are so there's people who can play technically such a great, great stuff, and but their vibrato is really say, bad. Is
bad.
that the vibrato is that one thing that gives you, that separates you from the crowd. The vibrato is only
Right.
basically vibrato, and let's say the sound of guitar or tone, but let alone the tone. The vibrato has such a great number of these little nuances and stuff, and everybody's going to do it differently. While some, I don't know,
True.
run C major, run from C to high C 130 bpm, pretty much 90% of guitar players is going to sound pretty much the same when they do tiki 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 tiki, right? Okay, depending
Right.
a little bit, there's going to be a little bit difference depending, on the, you know pick gauge, depending on the hand position, pick angle, but everybody is going to sound pretty much, you won't be able to distinguish, when you hear some famous guitar player, you won't be able to distinguish
Exactly.
if all of them just do this run, for example. But when you hear with vibrato, when you hear some BB King, Yngwie
Ah,
Malmsteen, BB King, Yngwie Malmsteen, like Steve Vai with his circular
Steve Vai.
vibrato, that's the one thing. Eric Clapton, David Gilmour, that's something that you can immediately say when they play three note lick. Oh yeah, I know this guy. This is,
Yeah,
for
that's true.
example, Ingvi.
Yeah.
And people neglect this, the vibrato. They just think, it's something, do. Vibrato also has a pulse, rhythm. How wide you're
Yeah.
gonna go, how fast you're gonna go. There's so many little
Narrow,
nuances that you
shallow,
can do
so
with
many
it.
things.
So, and that's the thing that people are. But I understand why. When you are a young guitar player, first what you want to do is learn, some scales, arpeggios, tapping as fast as possible. And vibrato is like, this is boring. I can do this, and a lot of them is doing it wrong. They're doing it from the joint of their fingers instead of from their wrist, and then later it's really hard
Yeah.
to correct this. It's really hard to correct this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like almost breaking down a whole building and then starting brick by brick again. So
Yeah,
that
exactly.
becomes difficult.
Exactly.
No, that's yeah. I'm smiling so much because the moment you said BB King, because even I had BB King in my mind, so I was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
but
right.
BB King,
Maybe.
such a distinguished vibrato. Again, Yngwie
Oh yeah,
Malmsteen, Eddie Van Halen. There's people that you can really tell who is playing by just vibrato.
true.
Yeah,
So
makes
true.
them unique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and go ahead,
yeah.
Funky.
Yeah, so talking about teaching, I do remember you explaining that wrist thing.
Yeah.
Um, I'll ask you, what is the most common mistake of the students, of the people you're teaching?
Uh, well, again, for example, this is the one of the most common
Mm-hmm.
that people still do vibrato. Even people after say some of them say I play for years,
True.
and they still when they start doing vibrato, there's no control, and they do it from from this finger joint. It just doesn't work. They never paid attention. To that, and it's really important.
Right.
That's the one mistake. Second mistake is obviously a lot of people has a trouble, in my experience, the people at least who are asking me for advice and taking lessons from me, like how to improve their alternate picking. The thing is, a lot of people, when they start learning guitar, if they are self-taught, and they, for example, they learn some scale, 3 notes per string, when they start playing that, if nobody tell them, okay, you have to do it like this or this or whatever, uh, they just naturally they're gonna play versions of economy picking, like down
Mm-hmm.
up down, then
Yeah.
again on the
Down,
next
up,
string
down.
down up down, which is fine. That's economy picking. It exists. Yeah, I still use it from time to time. But then after playing all the time like that and years like that, and not getting to some super fast speeds or level, then when they try alternate, it doesn't work because they're
It's
playing it
wrong.
for
Yeah.
so long like that. And the thing is also, economy picking is a little bit limited. It's more like, you know, it's more appropriate for to do from point A to point B, but it has some complicated phrases that goes around, goes back, and stuff like that.
Right.
Economy picking is not gonna work. It's the alternate picking is the way to go, and then people has a trouble with that because alternate picking is the picking that uh, needs most of your strength, articulate. It's actually takes most energy of you because it's
Right.
constant up and down wrist work and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say the vibrato and alternate picking are most common questions and common stuff that people has an issue with, when they, even after they're playing for years and years and years, all depends.
Yeah,
True.
so they're
True.
avoiding the hard work by doing the wrong thing.
Well, not some of them not avoiding it, deliberately. They just, thinking, for
Just
example, to
happens.
play something with economy and just doesn't work, and they don't figure out why it doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
or stuff like that. And there's also,
Yeah.
the stuff. Third mistake, I would be for practicing too fast, and stuff like that. You really have to take it easy. As much as it's boring, and yes, it is boring, and working on technical exercise is also important, and it's very boring, but it's very important, to get these
True.
kind of moves. So yeah, there's some people, just don't have patience trying to find some shortcuts. There are really no shortcuts, in
Mm-hmm.
music. Really,
Yeah.
you
That's
have there is a methods, there is a stuff that you can use to help you a little bit, there is a teachers, but eventually it's up to you. And the biggest factor, I guess, is that time invested, amount of time
Mm-hmm.
invested is
patience.
still going to be the biggest factor. So yeah,
Absolutely.
we all see, we are all witnesses, when you turn down, if you're a guitar player, so you get these targeted ads on Facebook or Instagram, and you see that I've seen the old ads all the time, like, oh, you're a guitar player, you're struggling, like this 30 days course is gonna get you. No, it's not
Yeah.
gonna get
Yeah.
you. It's
Crash
not
course
gonna.
and things.
It's just a classic scam, like like this same thing with the gym and with the six pack. Yeah, do the six, buy this
Y-
device and do after months of practicing. Yeah, get the perfect six pack. Yeah, right. Or
Mm-hmm.
this hair grow is gonna make you. Yeah, right. It's the same. It's not only with guitar, with the bass, with the
Yeah,
drums, with
everything.
everything. There's bunch of super methods that nobody ever told you, and it's gonna make you play perfectly in 30 days. No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
True. So true.
obviously.
Yeah, I'm so hardly relate to it. I mean, truly relate to it, because in the beginning years, I used to hold my pick like this and
Mhm.
play like this. Then over the years, I changed it and hold it this way.
Okay.
So I had to rebuild that whole thing because I know
Yeah.
I suffered a lot changing from even if this to this. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work because you're
it's a big
changing your
difference.
pick angle.
It's a
Yeah.
big difference. If you change some things, even a little bit, position from this to this or something, it's
Yeah.
whole other game. It's not gonna be like you're playing from beginning, but definitely there needs some time to adjustment. Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly. Yeah.
exactly. And even as simple, as simple thing as sitting and playing and standing up and playing. I think
Yes,
even that is, you need some time to get used to it. And
yes,
since we were speaking of alternates picking, I guess your songs anthem is one of the best examples to watch alternate picking and whatnot, because it's so precise, it's so fantastic, and the whole thing sounds so beautiful. I'm in love
thanks a
of
lot. Thank you.
anthem. So yeah, truly, truly amazing. So
Thank you.
folks,
Well,
you need to go check out.
I
Yeah,
mean, whoever I actually composed it, some people made a comment for me like, "Oh, it sounds exactly like Yngwie Malmsteen." Yeah, that was actually the point. This was like a pack to learn neoclassical style. So I made it, to sound like
exactly.
Yngwie Malmsteen, with his kind of licks and his kind of stuff. And yes, it was actually the goal. So some people think, like, oh,
Yeah,
like you ripped Yngwie. No, I didn't rip. I actually made it to be in the style of Yngwie Malmsteen.
exactly. And in your mind, it's a success, because I'm glad you thought of Ingve Malmsteen, because that's what I supposed it to happen, because that's what it was designed for, to feel like Ingve Malmsteen. Now that I know you're thinking of Ingve, it's good. That means it works.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Otherwise, no, it's not like that. But yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true. Awesome. And what picks do you use? Because I don't know. Is there a certain type of pick that you suggest one should use for speed picking, like
Well,
sharp picks and whatnot?
but to be honest, I experiment all the time. But regardless, of the brand or something, there are always
True.
minimum 1.5 to 3
You're right.
millimeters. Now I'm at the 2 millimeters right now, and actually these ones that I'm using now are Dunlop Flows Gloss. So yeah, maybe I don't know if
Wow.
Dunlop Flow Gloss, and I also have a JTC Ibanez. It's picks from JTC with cooperation from Ibanez. They're
Uh-huh.
acrylic, and yeah, they're all pointy. They're pointy,
Sharp picks. Yeah.
sharp,
Yeah.
yeah, sharp. And the one thing that I figure out, we're going back to that question, that I figure out that nobody told me before is
Sure.
when you play with a pick, and
Hmm.
it naturally formed this wear and tear, on the side of the pick, these bevels.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
because everybody has a different pick angle, everybody plays, a different pick angle over the string, different hand position. So when you
True.
play, when you take a new pick, what I always suggest, and some people really find it useful, I found it useful, and I discovered it, I never thought about it. When you take a
Uh-huh.
new pick, and
Uh-huh.
when you start playing, always play. For example, if on one side says, I don't know, Igor, on another says,
Yeah.
whatever, always put your thumb on the same side.
Yeah.
The reason for it, because whatever we play, however we play, our downstrokes are different than upstrokes. So if you
Yeah.
always play with the same side downstrokes and that same side
Uh-huh.
upstrokes, it's gonna form these bevels much more nicely. So the pick is
Oh
just gonna
yeah.
feel much more nicer and natural after this sweet spot after a week or two. For example, I don't like when I have to change the pick when it's new. I like when I form with my playing, when I form
Right.
these levels naturally after maybe about a week playing. It just glides more
Right.
naturally through the strings because it forms according to your angle, your pick stroke, and stuff like that. So that's the
So
thing
true.
that I discovered. And then later, after years, I watched the
Hmm.
Guthrie Gowan interview where he said whenever he used to, when he was younger, whenever he buys a new pick, he immediately
Yeah.
takes a little file and makes a bevel himself. So
Okay.
that
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so that was basically like confirmation that basically I was on onto the something, because yes, it's just much easier to play with already formed bevels. And now there's some, a lot of pick companies, more a little bit more expensive pick comes with already formed bevels.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
the thing is they're formed, artificially. So they glide nicely through
Indeed.
the strings, but you still need to form it a little bit, adjust it according to your, hand, how it stands.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
I actually I like the picks without these bevels, and I like when I
Yeah.
form it myself, because then picks feels perfect.
exactly, and it's different according to different players. So
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's gonna have,
mm,
form these bevels a little bit differently.
again, because I'm smiling so much again because that's what I do because this is a simple Tortex pick, Jim
Yep.
Dunlop, and the first thing I do when I get a pick is get a file and do this thing because I just love it. I mean, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't really buy a sharp pick, but I, buy the normals ones and do the filing thing myself.
Yeah,
So
of
yeah.
course. I mean, obviously, it worked for Guthrie Govan, which is also one of the greatest players and pickers and everything all around player. So
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
I was never bothered to do these bevels by myself because I'm a little bit sloppy with this. Anyway, I just put up with the new pick like 3 4 days until I form my own bevels from playing, and
Right.
then it feels perfect until I throw it away, until it's completely weird, or until I lost it. That's why I'm really
Right.
that's why I'm really keeping my picks. The picks that I use, for example, I
See.
only use one with the form
Wow.
bevel, and I use it until it works, until it's not completely weird. When it's weird, I'm gonna throw
Yeah.
it away and take another one. But I'm not gonna play with one pick and then
Change
just
it.
randomly goes in pocket and take another one. No, I'm gonna take one and play all the time with it uh, until the end of its life.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. Wow.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Awesome. Yes, good. Fun.
Yeah, so can you tell us some of your values or principles that you think have brought you this far in your life and career, and you wouldn't change them for anyone or anything?
No, to be honest, I wasn't. I didn't have anything planned. I was just decided when I was like 14 that I'm gonna play music. That's what I'm gonna do. For a living.
Mm-hmm.
I just played. Yeah, it took a while. Playing, going to these music schools, academies, doing these, as we talk, both parallel.
Mm-hmm.
This academic career and this rock musician career, whatever. And it just came naturally. When I moved in Dubai, a lot of things picked up there. There was I had the gigs every night there for almost 7 years,
Right.
6 gigs, gigs per night per week. So amazing experience playing with the bands all around the world. With the bands from Australia, UK, USA. The last band was from South Africa. So you really polish some of the stuff when you're every night on stage. You have opportunity to try different things, to try new licks that you learn, to experiment with the sound, with whatever. And yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't have any plan. I was just playing my stuff, recording my stuff, putting them online, and it kind of picked it up when I started working for JTC. When they invited me, I got more and more of that social presence, and
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of picked up from there. And then of course last year, on top of that, with JTC, with the guitar world, really picked it up from there. So yeah, I guess I wasn't to
Right.
have again had a plan for anything this to happen, but I'm glad it did. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
nice.
sure. So you
Really.
just went with the flow without any
Yeah, I was just
plans.
doing, and I'm
Yeah.
still doing it. I mean, nothing changed. I'm still doing the same thing I would do without basically the guitar world price or everything. Only
Mm-hmm.
thing now it's like a few 100% more of these
Yeah.
jobs and offers and stuff like that. But basically, still doing the same
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
so you mentioned that you're very international. So, can you tell us what of your some of your favorite moments from playing live or off stage?
Playing live. Oh well, again, probably the favorite part of my career playing live was in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
it was a pretty big stages. Last gig that we had, it was on the biggest
Hmm.
beach bar in Dubai. We played there 4 years until the pandemic hits and
Yeah.
everything. So it was like a
Yeah.
every day, every night was like a concert. It's a big middle deck of
Wow.
that big complex. So like we had on weekdays around 2,000 people, on the weekends 4 to 5,000 people every night. So with the big stage, with the big
Wow.
PA, with big speakers, very loud. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do that every night. So it's a pretty cool job, really.
Wow. Every night.
Living the
And
dream.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was well. To be honest, after a while, that also becomes like you have to go for gig.
Gosh.
But I when you're doing same thing pretty much every night, whatever you do, if it's every day, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit after a while. But
Of course.
we go
Sure.
for vacation. We go for over vacation when there's a Ramadan. There's no, there's no gigs in United
Yeah.
Arab Emirates. So that's our month off. Basically, we are playing 11 months per year. So when we go for
Right.
vacation, we travel the world and stuff. And then after 10, 15 days of vacation, you already like, oh man, I cannot wait to go back.
Yeah.
Go back to playing, back to work. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, indeed. You know,
And
that thing hits again. Yeah.
do you
Good.
have any funny stories from playing live?
Nothing that crossed my mind at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of funny moments, but nothing really, really, really worth mentioning. I mean, there
Hmm.
wasn't any.
Cool.
Maybe there was something, but probably it's not for live TV, whatever. But I
Okay,
mean, for
sure.
live. But I mean, nothing special. It's a job like everything else. It's a lot of fun, but it's still a job. So you have
Sure.
to do it. Do it pretty responsibly. It's not, it's not like playing for fun. You're basically employed for these
Yeah,
companies to
job.
Right.
do that kind of stuff. So yeah, it wasn't. It was pretty serious stuff. We had fun on stage and off stage and everything, but it was pretty serious. It wasn't like like people imagining crazy 80s, whiskey a go-go in LA or some kind of crazy. No, it was more like serious, still rock, still
Hmm.
hard rock, still gig, but pretty serious, on stage.
Yeah, professional, like a real job. Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. It was actually a real job.
Yeah. So we have two questions from a friend of ours,
Hmm.
Anders Lindholm. He wants to know, is there a piece of gear or equipment or an instrument that you regret losing or selling away?
Yes, there is. I maybe some 10 years ago, I ordered from USA. I ordered a custom carving guitar. So carving guitars used to have their own custom shop with pretty reasonable prices. So you can design your own guitars for not that much money. Because I
Hmm.
think
Right.
$2,500, and I designed it
Mm.
according to my specifications. They made it. They sent it to me, and it was a great guitar. And especially because that company doesn't exist anymore now. Actually,
Oh
they
yeah.
are called Kiesel now guitars. They're
Yeah.
making still okay, I guess, great instruments, but not the same shapes. So when they not the same instruments they used to do before. So
Hmm.
and then when I was leaving for Dubai, I was literally leaving here with without anything, with only one guitar and my fractal audio. So that guitar I
Hmm.
had to sell it because I was a little bit scared how it's gonna go there. So I needed money, you know, and
Oh yeah.
money to start there
Yeah.
in Emirates. And then eventually I sold it here. I went there. Everything kind of in Dubai picked up in like the first month or month and a half, and then I regretted
Mhm.
like I didn't need this money at all. But it was late. Guitar already went somewhere to Croatia and then to Italy. I
Oh
heard and
man.
whatever. So yeah, this is the one thing that I regret. But still, I mean, I have great guitars now. But I would love to have this one again.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there's another question from Anders Kanak.
Do I have
Yeah.
any
He
pets?
wants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. We have actually three cats. We brought them. Me and my wife. We brought them from Dubai, all of them. It was such a
Wow.
paperwork. Yeah, you won't believe it.
I bet.
Unfortunately, one we got lost a few months ago.
Oh
One
no.
they were house cats, and one of them, the biggest one, he just with one moment of not paying attention, he went to the balcony, and since we are first floor and it has some
Yeah.
thing, he just stepped down
Jumped off?
after we huh
Did he
sorry.
jump off?
No, you didn't jump. You can actually you can just walk from that first. There's
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, he probably walked down after some cat or something. After half an hour, we started looking. We could still till this day. I was offering prize money.
Yeah.
No, like
Oh
he disappeared.
man.
Like he disappeared. Yeah, but still we have these two with us, and yeah, we love them.
That's a shame. Yeah.
True. True.
Well, I hope you
Awesome.
find that cat one day,
Oh, I hope as
maybe.
well. We hope as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just comes back walking home. So that would be one of the things.
We'll see. We had so many, people calling. Yeah, because I was offering, quite a price for it, quite a
Big
money
money.
price.
Yeah.
Whoever gives me information, there was so many calls. Oh, we saw this one there. I get there. It's not that one. We
Nothing.
saw this one there, but
Yeah.
he hide. I go there. There's nobody. So yeah, it was like a months and months of struggle. And still, a few days ago, I got one. We saw the cat. It looks maybe it's. Can you give me a picture? I mean,
Yeah.
no, and no. He ran away. He ran away. We couldn't take a picture of him. I said, no, you're not gonna get the
Sure.
money. The
Yeah.
money goes to somebody who either gives me information that is gonna get my cat back, or who brings me the cat. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
No
People
scamming.
randomly calling, I saw this one
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe
No
looks like
money.
you. Like, no,
Exactly.
no. So yeah, truly greed for money. People, gosh. Okay.
What to do?
So I want to ask you, as you have recorded songs as well. So, what is, how different it is playing in a studio, while recording versus playing live. How much liberty is there and how different it is?
It's different. It's I guess it's only difference is in your head. Uh,
Hmm.
Again, when you play live, we're playing that kind of music, especially when you play hard rock and rock. That I wouldn't say that you don't have to be precise, but you definitely you are not judged as, for example. Some great
Yeah,
piano player is judged. For example, when Vladimir Horowitz come to the concerts and play, every wrong note or something, is gonna be, taken badly by critics. In our playing,
true,
you can get away kind of with kind of you can check out the greatest players in the world. When you see their live concerts, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, especially if you see them live, not after after these mixing and polishing, and when they release the DVD, you will hear a lot of things. A lot of scratches, a lot of
true,
wrong notes, a lot of guitar goes out of tune, breaks strings, stuff like that. The thing is, in live you're probably more relaxed and everything, and you have more energy or
right,
more, especially if it's a great atmosphere. The live playing can get some really cool licks and stuff. Comparing to that,
exactly.
studio, where you really needs to be precise, because you are playing something that's gonna stay there, and there's no more correction when you finish, when you're happy with your take. And
Yeah,
also, some people find it harder to play in studio, and we call that like syndrome of red light, of that recording light. So they play
yeah,
great, they play great. As soon as you put recording, their like
the
ability drops
consciousness kicks
30.
in.
Yeah, 30%. They get scared, they get fright or something. But it's the more you record, the less you care about is it recording or not recording or whatever. Yeah.
True, true.
And it is
Yeah, that's
definitely a different experience. It's a definitely different experience. And of course,
right.
in controlled environment as your studio, you're gonna play better than live, because, for example, if you need to record solo, you can warm up for 2 hours playing that solo, then hit that record button and record it beautifully. Live, maybe you were driving all day,
Right.
maybe you were tired, you back up your stuff, you hit the stage, you have only one chance to play it, so it's probably not gonna be that good, that the one that you recorded. But again, nobody expects it, I guess, to be that good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer again. Thank you.
Yeah. I
Thank
have
you.
to.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I have to agree with that because I also sing as well, and I do a lot of covers. I posted a lot of them, and I record them with my phone. And when I'm singing, without the phone and everything is amazing. But when I hit that button to record, everything goes
Yeah,
downhill. So
Yeah,
yeah, I get
it's
that.
again, it's just a matter of time. The more you
getting
do it,
used to
the
it.
less you're gonna care about the record button, and yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be eventually it's gonna be fine.
So true.
Hmm.
Yeah. So practice is the most important thing.
Yeah, practice. I mean, when you repeat some task, when you do anything in life, when you do it all over again, over and over again, you get more comfortable every time that you do it. Every next
True.
time you do it, you get
True.
more comfortable, whatever that is. So if it's playing in studio, if you play,
Right.
there's a session with studio guitar players in the world that nobody ever heard about, that probably didn't have even the many so many gigs or something, but they're perfect musicians. We can hear them on every track, on a lot of records. We don't even know their names, some of them. And there's
Yeah.
also great live players who basically, well, I don't know
True.
how much this time they spend in the studio, probably a lot, because it goes with the job. But there's definitely a lot of studio musicians that doesn't perform live oftenly, but they're perfect, amazing
Hmm.
musicians.
Yes. Yes. That's true. Exactly. So I want to ask, what's next for you? Any new music coming out? Anything in works?
Yeah, I'm finishing that actually the album, which I don't know when I'm gonna finish it. And to be honest, it's not on my like kind of
Uh
priorities
huh.
because
Mhm.
all these songs, now it's releasing album now, publishing is not that kind of important as was it before. If you just release single
Right.
by single, it's fine. It's not on my priority list, but I'm doing that. I'm getting my next new
Cool.
pack for JTC. New song is coming, I think, end of January or mid January, something like that.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
new stuff is coming. Yeah, yeah. I finished the filming everything now when they do the artwork and put everything together. So that's
Yeah.
coming up. Then I have some few gigs as a hired gun with some bands here in now in January. Band from Croatia and what else I have? Yeah, I have some workshop in Banja Luka here at the end of January. I have some stuff that
Wow.
I have to record for some bands, the lead guitar parts for some bands, and few arrangements to finish. And yeah, basically that's it. A lot of little things to to take care about.
Yeah. You're a busy man. So
Well, I'm not complaining. It's good at the moment.
yeah. Of course it is. Uh, Fantastic. Okay, random question. What was the last thing you Googled?
Last thing I googled,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I would have probably to check it out. I think it was actually it was no, it was yeah, I know what I googled. I googled the toy for my baby girl, one specific toy, which well,
Ah,
I just googled it because I saw the ads and I forgot what's the name of it, so I
right.
tried to figure out
Yeah.
how to Google to find the name of it. So I was Google literally like thing that turns around for kids and stuff like that. So yeah, I still haven't found it, but I'll get there.
Wow, I love
That's
that.
adorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of love to your kid as well. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, kind of, if you don't have any questions left, I will ask the last question.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, you can go
So,
ahead.
what advice can you pass on to your fans, friends, and the people who are watching right now?
Well, I can I can only give maybe some advice to guitar players, but for friends, I,
I mean,
I
advice
Sure thing.
regarding
Sure
music
thing.
or life, whatever.
Anything that comes to
it's
mind.
yeah, it's very hard. It's a very philosophical question. I would say do what you like. Don't pay attention to critics. Be
Yeah.
be patient, consistent. Really focus on what you do, and the result is gonna they're gonna come either way. So
True.
I'm
Indeed.
really not sure
Indeed.
what I would say. To sound very smart.
I mean, that was very
No,
wise.
that.
No,
Yeah.
it's something that a lot of
Exactly.
people, something that probably a lot of people are gonna say. Yeah, but it's true. What to say.
Yeah.
Just
Indeed. Yeah.
mm.
So yeah, that's a brilliant answer again. So do what you do, and you know, give a blind eye to the critics.
Yeah, that's actually yeah, but that's more the for toward the musicians. Don't pay
Yeah.
attention to critics, especially local critics.
Oh,
When you are
definitely.
wherever you are
Mm,
from, there was always your biggest critics going to be people from your local environment, which critic is not always true to life. It's not always legit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Critic from your
Exactly.
fellow people that you live with can be some because they don't like you, some because they are
Yeah.
jealous, some because
Yeah.
so that's not a legit critic. So if you're gonna listen to critic, listen to the critic from people that first of all doesn't see you as as any competition. They're not from your environment and that have some portfolio, that have something behind them, so they are their critic can be taken more seriously. I don't know how
Hmm.
to put it
Exactly.
more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Indeed. Yeah.
because a lot of young musicians get discouraged from some local stars that tell them that's not for you or don't do this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you need like kid, you need like years and years to practice to get this to level. So don't pay attention to them. That's the first and most important rule if you're starting to be a young musician. Just say to them, yeah, right,
Awesome.
yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's truly brilliant and very important, actually. So yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. And so, tell us how can our watchers and listeners, connect with you, your socials? Would you like to share
Well,
that?
I have
We of
recently
course
just
have your socials here, so
yes, there. That's it. That's it. So yeah, that's Instagram, Facebook. Instagram recently launched the website. It's still not done completely, but yeah, it's kind of a lot of things there already. They can also
yeah,
check the JTC Guitar Artist Igor Paspalj for my packs and stuff lessons, and yeah, they can also
sure,
find me in various projects all over the net. To be honest, I don't know now what to Google, but yeah, I played guitar for a lot of people, still doing it, recording. So yeah, but this that what you put is, I think it's enough. Maybe YouTube,
sure.
yeah, YouTube channel, YouTube / Igor
Yes,
Paspalj as well. Yeah, that's it basically.
You
it
just
did,
Google
and
his
all
name
the
and you have
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, it just shows up here.
Hmm.
By the way, there is a link to Igor's channel in the description of this video. Pretty
ah,
much everything. Even in last.fm, you got everything in this description of this video.
okay, yeah,
And folks, you should definitely check out his YouTube channel because there are not only his original songs, but there are also a lot of cool covers of the song, other songs that he does. So they're really fantastic as well. So
thanks
you
a
have
lot,
to check them out.
thanks a lot.
And thank you so much for spending your Thursday evening. Is it today? Maybe
Yes,
evening? Yeah. So
yes.
thank you for spending your evening with us today on the Voice It Show,
Thank
Igor.
you
It
for
has
having me.
been
Thank you for having
such
me.
an
It was
honor.
a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Such an honor.
Hvala ti
Funky, you
puno.
want to say anything? Any parting words?
Well, nothing special. Hvala ti puno što si došao, bilo nam je baš čast i nadam se da ćete vidjeti nekad u Banja Luci, pošto sam stalno tamo. Eto.
Pa evo i ja sam stalno, eto, hvala opet na pozivu. Slobodno javi se za kafu, ja sam ovdje u Banja Luci, eto imam radionicu, ja mislim 1. februara da će biti u Banja Luci, ali
Mhm.
nevezano za radionicu, ako nisam negdje na putu, tu sam u Banja Luci, pa eto, kad budeš tu, javi se slobodno.
U redu, hoću. Amazing. Thank
Važi.
you again.
Thank you guys and see ya.
Indeed, indeed. And thank you everyone who tuned in. Merry Christmas to you all, and we'll see you next time. Ciao
Merry
Ciao.
for
Christmas.
now.
Bye.
See ya.